We're with Eastern Connecticut women's lacrosse head coach Christine Hutchison getting ready for her 7th season. Christine, you guys have been practicing for over a month now. What are your feelings about the team?
I think it's going well. We've been inside, outside for both, so we're working on everything we possibly can. The team is intense this year. They really know what they want to accomplish when it comes to every game, not just our conference games, but every game. So they've been working hard.
The schedule, the overall, the non-conference schedule is a little bit different this year. You opened up with Springfield, a team we've really never played in the regular season. Was there, in terms of formulating this year's schedule, was there any certain things you were looking at in terms of the new teams you brought in and the teams you dropped?
We had a couple drops from last year's schedule basically because they didn't fit into our schedule, not because we didn't want to play them, but because their schedule changed and our Lily's conference schedule changed, so our dates didn't match up. So when I was looking for new schools, I was looking for schools that could be very competitive with. So every time we stepped in the field, it was going to be a good game and a game we could win, but also a game we could lose if we didn't play well. So instead of going out there playing, a top 5 team where it's, a little bit more iffy right now in our schedule, especially at the beginning of the conference. I didn't want to get beat by 15. Not that we would have, but just a little bit more competitive of a schedule for us. So I wanted to make sure every single team was playable, beatable, and was going to give us hard competition. So we also weren't looking for a team that we were going to walk over either. We wanted to make sure every single game they needed to be up for and be consistent at as they played.
Which is probably something that would help you come the end of the year when you come to postseason.
Exactly.
So that's Little East tournament.
Exactly. That's always a struggle, is that we have ups and downs during our season. So we play like a really, really hard game and then a really, really easy game. So they don't play at the same level. So by our schedule this year, we should have to play at the same level every single game. So that consistency, hopefully, which is what we lack sometimes when we hit conference, is our consistency isn't there. So hopefully this year our consistency will be there throughout the regular season and the tournament.
We'll talk about some of the people you have back. You have 14 letter winners back, and 9 of them were basically starters, but you lose one of your top offensive players, your top defensive player, and your goalie. So how are things going with that, redoing that?
We are meshing well, so I think that's good. We don't have, we're not really looking for a leading scorer this year. We're looking for everyone to contribute so that if they shut down one of us, we'll still have 6 more people on attack. Our defense is very strong. We have Sam Barone back and Rachel Miotti back, both Lily's conference from last year. So they are very, very strong back there, and they're very vocal, very competitive. So they're really going to be the core of our defense. But then our D-wings and our center, Daniela Marquito, is also back. So she's going to add to both ends too.
Remember last year, going into the season opener, you had Daniela as your center, taking your draws, but that changed a few games in, and I thought Erin Kahn did a good job. But the plan this year is to go back to Daniela.
No, we're going to have Daniela's basically our center, so she'll go both ways, but Erin Kahn is going to take the draw, period. So she's going to be a high attacker, but she'll come back probably to take the draws. And we have a couple other people that take draws too, to kind of throw in a different options if we need to, but Erin's very good at getting possession of the draw after, and that's what we're looking for.
Well, Erin, her first year, her win percentage was about 45%, and then last year it was about 57%. Yep. You had to be sort of happy with her.
Oh, definitely. And she's gotten the strength in her just for a one-handed catch, and she also now just has the drive to get that ball every time. She does not obviously like giving it up at that point. Yeah. So when she's on fire and she wants that ball, she does very well with it.
So who will be your main attack people this year?
So we're looking for, we don't have 100% set, but most likely we're going to have Erin Kahn and Christina Lillis and Alexa Foley as our high attacks. And then our A-wings, we're looking at Ash Walk and Sandy Scarpetta as our A-wings, and then Daniela as our center.
Talk about the goalies. You have 2 new people that haven't played goalie before.
Ever.
It's a major position, obviously. Do they have potential?
Yes, they're actually very good. And we have a lacrosse athlete that was with us last year that played defense that is into goal, Haley, and then Heslin, and then HK, or Hannah Kaiser, she played field hockey for us, and she was also a softball player in high school, a third baseman. So she's got the quick reactions, and she's never played before. So she is a little bit more of a learning curve, but they've put in a lot of time and effort during practices to get ready. So we're pretty confident with both of them in there. So, and they just keep getting better every day. And I don't think it's going to be that much of a challenge as I was scared it might be at the beginning of season. Before season started, I was a little bit nervous about it, but really our defense has meshed really well, and they trust our goalies, and our goalies are doing great back there.
Well, I know coaches look at it from the fact that you have someone like those two girls that never played before, but on one hand, they haven't developed bad habits.
Exactly. So our volunteer assistant coach they're working with them consistently. So they're learning the same things, muscle memory, again and again and again. And as of right now, they might not have huge strengths, but they also don't have huge weaknesses. So it's going to have to be a well-placed shot to go in and be hard, because they're very technical at right now. So they have the reaction time, but they're also just extremely technical because this is the first time they're doing it, and they're not just going off of, well, this worked when I was in high school. They're learning at the college level to begin with, so they're learning the hard shots right to begin with, rather than having to start kind of slow. They've been thrown right in there.
Well, watching one of your practices the other day, I guess you guys were going through a drill where the attack people at least, were driving to the goal with their left hand.
Yep.
I thought that was sort of was not a strong point of this team, where a lot of teams were defending our people, making them go left, and a lot of our kids couldn't do that. Is that something you've been working on?
We have been. We have a good starting unit of probably 8 or 9 that are pretty fluent with their left hand, so we're stepping that up because we can't get covered to the right and not be able to use your left. So we have a bunch of athletes that are able to go left pretty fluently and not even think about it. So we're kind of hoping we get force left this year, because, hey, it's going to be an easy goal.
That'll be good. Do you see any besides the goalies? Do you see any new people stepping in and having an impact this year?
We have a couple that are like a couple freshmen that we see a big potential in, and we have a transfer, McKaylee Whitehouse, that has potential. She's just not quite there yet, so she's still working. Kind of talked to her about what she needs to do to get in there, and she's improved in practice just in the past couple of days because she stepped it up. So we have a couple new people, but really we're relying on the returners to get it done.
Well, you got a number of seniors, 5 or 6 seniors, I believe, on this year's roster.
Yep.
Do you see that senior leadership starting to come around?
Yeah, they are intense. They want it. The whole team really is behind them because they're a very likable group. They mesh well with everyone. It's a big unit rather than just the seniors. Christina Rowley leads by example, so she doesn't always have the voice out there, but she's hard worker. She's fast. She's out there sprinting and doing everything she possibly can. And then, who else do I have not mentioned? And then Taylor Buchanan, who's still injured, who's coming back. But once she's back on the field, she'll be a huge bonus for us, hopefully later in the season. She was Lily's conference when she was a sophomore, and then we didn't see her that much last year because of another injury. So she's getting back into it, and we're looking for her to really kind of shine the second half of the season.
Well, with Taylor Buchanan, is this the same injury that kept her out early on last year, or is this another one?
Same. She re-injured, so she's back rehabbing again.
She works hard.
Yeah, she works hard.
You have to pull for her. She
Yes.
puts in so much time and effort into it. You guys have been to the Little East Championship game 5 years in a row, and then last year you lost in the semis in what sounded like a phenomenal game. You almost came back and got Keene, and you're tied for third in the conference preseason poll. After years and years of being the team that everyone's gunning for, is it sort of nice to maybe fly under the radar for a change?
Yeah, I'm actually relieved. I think our team plays well and plays better when they are the underdogs and have to prove themselves. We get a little bit antsy when we're out there and we're expected to win, and I think this year is going to be a little bit better and less stressful on them because they are not expected to win. They're seeded third, which is pretty much where we finished last year. So, they need to prove themselves this year to be able to get into that 1 or 2 top bracket to even, to do it well during regular season and then shine in tournament.
You guys played about your last 3 games of the season were 1-goal games, which could have gone either way. You had the big win at Western. You beat them in overtime. And then you had Rhode Island College, an improved Rhode Island College team, but you beat them at home, which was a really difficult game. Who else do you see in the conference? You see it pretty wide open?
I think it's wide open. I think any team could step it up and get that win this year. I think Rhode Island College and UMass Dartmouth are not as up there, but who knows? They can surprise us. Every team is a threat. There's no team, especially it's kind of the day of, so whoever steps in that field ready to win is going to win that day. So we're hoping to be that team, but we're going to have to make sure that we're ready every time we step in the field.
So you guys are going to open up on the 28th. You're going to be at Springfield. We've never played them in the regular season. We played them a couple times in postseason and beat them both times. But Springfield was coming off. They beat Babson last year and they won the NUMAC. Do you know much about Springfield? It'll be a test.
We've done some research on them. They're fast. They're really aggressive. One of their seniors is Allie Davis, who is very similar to Daniela Marquito. So she is going to be a good matchup for her. It'll be an interesting game. We've done our homework, so we know what we need to do. But it's going to be the first game of the season, so we need to go out there and play. Our expectation is to win every game, so that's what we're going for.
That's where you start. Last question, Christine. Do you're just a couple of days away from that Springfield game, if in fact it is played, which looks good right now. Do you feel comfortable at this point, or is there some last minute things that you really need to go over before you open up?
Do you ever feel comfortable stepping into a game? I'm not sure, but I guess I'm always a little nervous, but that's good because it means that I'm ready to go. I think the team is ready to go. We just need to put it all together on the field. So if they're capable of communicating, which is going to be our big one, and listening to each other, that'll be the other one, they'll do absolutely fine. But they have the intensity and the hard work behind them, but they need to then show it on game day. So I believe that we will do fine, but they need to go out there and prove it to themselves too.
And I'm sure they're ready at this point.
They're ready.
After a month
we wanted
of
to scrimmage last Saturday, but our turf was not ready. So they are ready to go.
So the Warriors will open up a 15-game schedule. They'll be playing at Springfield College on Thursday, February 28th. Springfield coming off a bid in the NCAA tournament. The Warriors open up their conference season at Rhode Island College on March 30th. Christine, thank you. Good luck this year.
Thank you.